Okay, in this video, it would be wonderful if we could get back to working with tunes raster levels in OpenTunes, blah, 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 blah. But we're still doing cleanup work on some stuff that was created kind of a long time ago and all sort of baked together. And so for that reason, I am going to actually, you saw what I just did. I deleted a level, but you can see here in the scene cast window that that level I just deleted is still there. But if I hit removed all unused levels, now it will be cleaned out of the tunes file. Keeps things clean and efficient. Now, my strategy for this shot is going to be a little bit similar to what I did in the last video, which is we see in the level settings that this is the battle baked .ping, and it's a really, really long image sequence with lots and lots and lots and lots of pictures in it. Wonder what this is. Not sure. That's, oh, I see. That's with the backgrounds baked in. Yeah, I don't want that. So now what I'm doing is I'm going through and I'm just going to find the sequence of pictures that represents the shot I'm looking at, which starts here. 2, 3. No, actually it's here. I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, what I can do is I can import those images into Krita, just those 6 drawings, and then just go through and touch them up as needed. So, File, New. I'm going to go with a basic, okay. Broadcast HD. I like a transparent background. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to import animation frames. So I'm going to go to the same spot. And this is actually in the render folder. So I need to go back one level here. Render. And we're looking at baked. Baked, the battle baked. Okay, and we need to start at number 156. So it's a little obnoxious, but we want 156 through 163. Boom, just those. Grab them, import them. Okay, and there's our sequence. Okay. So now we can just go in and let's save this right now as a Krita file. We are not supposed to be on the C drive. We're supposed to be here, Krita, and this is 0091-F, I believe. Is that correct? That is correct. Okay, and then what I'll be able to do is what I'll actually do is do my touch-ups, and then I will render this sequence out with what I believe will be the correct naming, and then when it goes wrong, I'll do it into a temp folder so that if it doesn't name the images correctly, I won't have accidentally overwritten something that I didn't mean to overwrite. And then if everything looks good, then I'll drag it. I'll drag this sequence of drawings back into this folder and just overwrite these images here. And at that point, I'll probably have to reload the project in OpenTunes because I suspect these are stored in memory. But then when I reload this scene, all the images will update magically, right? Now, is there another way? Theoretically, there is. I could turn off this background here. And by the way, I would also note that you see this. These are all the same drawing, actually. So let me kill that and stretch that out. Again, let's hit Save All. Now, theoretically, if I go into the drawing, sorry, I don't want to go into drawing. I want to go into, well, actually, let's do it here. Let's stay in the basics folder. Okay, so what I actually want to do is turn this off. And if we can do it here, in OpenTunes, then let's do it. No problem. My suspicion is that OpenTunes is not going to cooperate, because usually when I've been trying to edit directly into these sequences in this manner, OpenTunes gets a little persnickety and starts blowing up. Whoops. Okay, so now actually let me do that. See, if I now hit save all, okay, and go back here, we can see that little mark that I just made. So it'll actually update everything, and it doesn't seem to be crashing. So it looks like maybe I don't have to go to Krita. Let's find out. Okay, so we're here. I'm hitting the eraser, hitting Alt so I can make the eraser bigger. It's nice that you can do that. I wish you could do that with the paintbrush tool as well, but you can't. So now I'm going to go through, and I'm just going to do this manually, just because I can. And I'll just keep, after doing a little bit of editing, I'll just go ahead and do a save as. Whoops. Okay, so now that's interesting. You see what just happened? I accidentally erased something, but when I hit undo, all that OpenTunes undid was my painting. It did not undo that erasing right there. So that's kind of interesting. So now I'm going to hit the R key to sample that color, and there OpenTunes blew up. So that answers my question. OpenTunes is not very amenable to what I was just trying to do. So let's just do it here in Krita, and no big deal. So eraser mode, that's the E key. So let's just touch up every single one of these drawings as needed. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the most obvious things that are egregious, and then I'm going to go save my work. Okay, so now another thing I'm going to do, which hopefully will work, is I'm going to use the magic wand. Let's do this. Let's add a level. Let's isolate that level and color the background. I don't think I want to use black. Let's try red. Let's just fill that with red. Fill, I said. Okay. So now unsolo that layer and drop it down here. Now if we look real close, you can see this anti-alias, or not anti-aliasing, but really pre-multiplying issue that OpenTunes always has. So now that I got rid of those shadow anomalies, I should be able to actually hit the magic wand tool, and depending on how I've got my settings, fuzziness is 1 and grow or shrink selection is set at 0. I really need to have that probably set at 1, maybe even 2. Okay, but now if I just hit Control X, okay, I'm going to make it 2 and see how we do. Hit delete, and now if we turn our, well, okay, so the point is we got rid of the pre-multiply problem without damaging our outlines, which was kind of the whole goal. So I can't just go through and do that on these frames until I've cleaned up that silly shadow issue. So that means our work is clear. And then once that's all done, then I will go in and do more judicious cleanup, touch up, like these color anomalies and whatnot. But the main thing I want to do is get rid of these erroneous shadow holdovers so that I can clean up the edges, and then on from there. So next frame. And the reason these shadows are in here is because in the original Tunes raster levels in OpenTunes, I had these shadows it didn't matter if the shadows went outside the lines, so to speak, for the simple reason that I had a post effect in OpenTunes that clamped the shadows to the characters that they were shadowing. But when I rendered this out and turned it into a plain old raster level sequence of images, I wasn't paying attention, and the shadow overlaps got baked in. Of course, there's a way to avoid that, but at the time I didn't avoid it. So now I pay the price, which the price is not that great. The price is about 5 minutes of hand painting to fix the anomaly. So now, as you can see, you're saying, well, wait, Dave, there's some shadows up top too, not just down here. Yeah, I know. I'm going to get these and then go back up and get the rest of them. But thank you for pointing that out. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I knew what you were thinking. I knew what you were thinking. By gum and by golly. Last frame. Now, of course, one question that is invited here is whether I should actually be putting any more tweens in. And the answer is, I mean, I guess I could, but I probably won't. If I do, the way I'll probably do it is by cutting her into pieces and then just patching the gaps where I introduce holes if I go ahead and put any more tweens in. But I think if I play this back at 8 frames a second, effectively putting the keyframes on 3s, because at 24 frames a second, that would be like each frame taking up 3 frames. But for preview purposes, since I'm going to save this as a plain old image sequence, I gain nothing by leaving it at 24 frames per second, because I don't want, because if I put it at 24 frames per second and got the timing worked out correctly, then Krita would export all of those frames, so I'd have 2 duplicates of each frame, which I don't want. Okay. So now there's obviously a lot to fix. So let's do the magic wand. Hello, there it is. Delete. Next frame, magic wand. Delete. Next frame, magic wand. Delete. So we just do this for each of these frames. Okay, so now if we turn our obnoxious red background back on, we can see that it looks pretty good. Better save our work. Save early, save often, as we always say. And what we want to do is up here, you can't see this, but in the in another window, I'm going to change this to a length of a length of 8 frames at a frame rate of 8 frames per second. And what that should do, okay, so that's interesting. I don't want it to end on frame 8, I want it to end on frame 7, because there's 8 frames, but it starts at 0. So actually this is what I want. Okay, and then this way I'll be able to export this sequence of images and then do the timing in OpenTunes. I'll figure out the timing there. Probably just put it all on 3s, and I think it should, because that looks about right. The only exception being I probably would want from here to here, just those two, to be a 2, not a 3. But for anime, for the most part, you want to do things on 3s. If you take, if you download an anime somehow, and bring it into Blender or whatever your video editor is and look at the timing, most of the action is done on 3s. So we want to just kind of adhere to the standard way of doing things. Alright, so now I'm going to hit Tab to go into full screen mode, just so I have as much screen real estate as possible. To kind of look at what I have here and just go in and fix a few things. Honestly, there should probably be shadowing there if we're going to have a little bit of shadowing at the bottom of the dress. Actually, I think that's ill-conceived. I think the right thing to do is actually to get rid of the shadowing on the bottom of the dress. I don't think it's helping. It makes it look too polished, too 3D. Okay, so now this should actually be in shadow if the truth be known. So, okay, and then let's just address stuff that's obviously a bit stupid up here where I was rushing when I originally drew these drawings. Right? Don't be rushing, man. Don't be rushing. Okay, let's go to the next one. I don't like that one. So yeah, just little touches, touch-ups. It's what you gotta do if you want to make it look nice, and yeah, frankly, it's fun work. It's always nice when things are, you know they're improving, so to speak. Well, actually, that's her pigtail, so we should probably run that right into there. Now, of course, these frames do go by pretty quickly, so we don't have to really belabor the daylights out of anything, actually, just because they do go by real fast. Here, this actually should be that color, and then that right there is what we should be seeing there. And then we'll just go back in and tighten up the outlines. We don't want to be too anal. Well, actually, I should have had a little lighter touch there. Fine. Next, and by the way, hitting save. Save early, save often. That's the rule. Okay, this should be in shadow. Well, actually, this is not her skin. This is the fabric. So, actually, it looks like her skin pretty much covered up there. Do a little manual erasing here. That I didn't catch that before, and as a result the magic wand didn't catch it either. Alright, actual size. Yeah, and I could totally see, pause there, okay. Again, a little bit of hand fix up there. Now this is all going to be going by real fast, so don't need to kill ourselves trying to make it amazing for a bunch of detail that you're never actually going to see. But at the same time, we don't want it to look stupid either. So this is the balance we want to strike, is it not? Yes. Yes, the balance. Alright, and this is definitely not quite happening. Boom. Little erasing here. Again, this would go by so fast you'd never see it in a million years, but that's okay. We'll just fix it just because we're here, and why not? And by the way, the thing I probably should do here, since that's a closed shape, I'm just going to go ahead and make like that, and then go back in. Sorry. Back in with the brush and oh, I see. We still had a selection. That's why the brush doesn't seem to be working. Okay, stop. Make that lighter. Little glitch there. Okay. Back here, and save early, save often. Little outline missing there. Little hiccup there. Definitely a hiccup there. And probably that should be sort of straightened up. A little bit of a bosom outline there. Boom. So, in a perfect world, in the perfect anime production world, we would never have to do all this. And indeed, if I had kind of done everything right along the way, I wouldn't have to do this. But I'm in the process of cleaning up a bit after some mistakes I made quite some time ago. And anything that improves the quality of the show, yeah, that's a good thing, right? Probably want that more to be the shadow color than the outline color. I see a little spot right there that needs a touch up. Okay. And then maybe, if we really want to be meticulous about it, let me grab the outline here and say, well, it looks like the magic wand tool took out maybe a little more than I intended, so. Yep, same thing here. So it's nice that we can go in and fix these things up so easily. It makes me go into Bob Ross mode and start talking about happy little clouds and that sort of thing. Well, it is a very zen experience when you're drawing. That's why, as much as possible, you want the animation process to be about drawing. If it gets into too much technical mumbo jumbo with animation data and data management, it can become just not as fun. You know, because why are we doing this? We're doing this because we want to draw and we want to animate. Whoops. I'm going to actually grab that color right there. Soften that a little bit. Soften that a little bit. Okay. Looking good? I think so. Okay, this is going to be a little tricky. Yeah, isn't that amazing how much detail is in there? Yeah, I love that. That really brightened up her expression in her eyes. Okay, so now one thing I'm curious about. I don't think we need to be too uber careful about these, but I would say that on this particular frame, the pigtails really shrunk too much. Like they're okay here and here, maybe not here. But we don't want them changing size. Now look at that, what a mess. What a mess. We'll just fix them up like that. Whoops. Here they're in shadow. Okay, one question. Oh, I just noticed something. A little bit of a glitch. I forgot to clean that up right there. Okay, yeah, so what I was going to say is, first of all, actually, while we're here, let's try to clean this up. Okay, and if this is going to be in shadow, then okay, fine, let's let it be in shadow. So now I want this shadow color. And what I'm thinking is, I'm going to go ahead and let's look at that. Boy, that didn't work, did it? That did not work. It's too contrasty. Okay, so now the other thing I want to do right here is give this just a little bit more clarity. Little more clarity. Boom. Yeah, that works. Okay. Yep, that's what we want. Okay, and then a little shadow mark right there for the lower lip. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a pretty cool shot when it's done, I think. Seems to me. We'll just kind of blur those together, fix up that and that. Just giving a little bit more clarity to her eye expression. Look at it at actual size. You can see it just, her eyes are popping a little bit more. One thing that seems to be missing a little bit here is just some of those details in the hair. And okay, surprise, surprise, turns out that's the last frame. Okay. Cool. Cool beans, man. And I said earlier, I don't want the shadowing at the hem of her garment. I think it actually, it's like it makes things like they're trying to look too three-dimensional. Now a little bit of this sort of thing might be useful. Oh, I don't like that line right there. I think that these probably should have a little bit more character to them. Yeah, I want it to really be clear that she's trying to cover herself up, right? So let's go to full size view. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. Okay, let's play it back at 8 frames per second. You can see it definitely works. Okay, so now let's go out of full screen mode. Let's absolutely save our work. File, save. Okay, and then as explained earlier, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go render animation. We're going to render an image sequence 0 through 7, pings. We're going to put them in the temp folder. And now the important thing is we have to match this. So I'm actually going to hit Control X. So I just stole the file name. Okay. So in order to make this work, this is actually kind of interesting. In order to, I just cut and pasted this in here. But what I need to do is, let's go to Krita. Okay. Before I can do this, I'm sorry, I got to do things in a certain order here. Okay, let's forget render animation for a minute. And just to make things simpler, I'm going to go ahead and put these little windows in on the other screen so y'all can see them too. Okay, so that's what I have up here. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to go File, Render, and the base name is what we just cut and pasted, or we're cutting and pasting now. We want to start at 0156. So what we're going to do is put a period there and go 0156. That should do it. Let's find out. So now we're going to just go into the temp folder. And while we're here, I don't know if we need to hit refresh. Okay, where the heck is it? Okay, I think what happened was, doggone it. Yep, doggone it. What actually happened was I did everything right except the file location. Krita, okay, sorry guys. Krita defaulted back to a previous image location. So now that means I could have a major problem if I didn't name these right. So let's go ahead and find out by going to a previous location. And it looks to me like these are still the images that were in OpenTunes. And indeed, it's screwed up. This is bad because what happened was it saved it. I'm pretty sure it saved it in. Krita saved it into this folder. Hmm. 0091E. So this is Tunes E drive. Whoa. Sorry guys, gotta check something. Literally got no idea what the heck Krita was thinking. So here's what we need to do. Let's go to render. And actually, no. Let's go to temp. And just to keep ourselves from going insane, I'm going to delete all the images in the temp folder because I don't need them to be there. So now let's try to get this right. Anime, temp. Okay, that's our location. The battle baked, and this is annoying. It is starting with 156, and I don't think it's going to let me put a leading 0 in there. But let's find out. No, it won't. So that's okay. So let's see what happened. Okay, it actually did the right thing. It did the right thing. It put the leading 0 in there because Krita, like OpenTunes, likes making things having 4 digits. Okay, so I'm going to grab these guys, Control C, and you can see that it's starting at 0156. So now I just want to confirm that the first one is 0156, and it is. So I should be able to, okay, it doesn't want to let me paste. Control C, Control V. And indeed, this is exactly what we want. Let's apply to all. We've saved all those. And now, what should happen is when we reopen the last shot in OpenTunes, this part of that image sequence should update perfectly. Okay, so this is, again, F. That's what I thought, and it is at the top of the list here. And what happened? Wango bango. We have fixed everything up seamlessly, clunkily perhaps, a little clunkily, but at least we were able to do it. So now if we hit the L key, okay, so yeah, now all of our everything is actually in the wrong places. Let's do a little cleanup here. Got these old legacy memos from way back when, and what we're going to do is we're going to take these and we're going to reframe them on 3s. Okay, so this can just be dragged down here. And then I sort of determined that we want to hold this for, let's just say, half a second. And then I also thought that this probably wants to be on 2s. And this should be held a little longer. Okay, so just to keep things elegant, I'm going to go ahead and put that at the 2.5 second mark. And let's just see what happens. Okay, this seems to be another half second. And I believe these unusually need to be on 2s. Yep, and then let's go ahead and hold it out for the full 48. So it's a 2-second shot at this point. Alright, so rewind. Perfect. I like it. Alright, Control R to do a fast render. Let's save all. And this is going to be my computer. Anime render. And we all know what it's going to be. It's going to be 0091-F. .mp4. If I don't do mp4, it's going to save it as TIFFs, I believe, by default. Okay, where's Blender? There's Blender. Okay, and this is the shot we're replacing. And so, right here. So we're going to edit it in right there. And if we go here into the render folder, and we're looking for 0091F, and there it is. Should be done rendering. Drag it in here. Hey. What happened? Come on, Blender. Okay, is it? Oh, it inserted it up here in a where I didn't see. Sorry. Okay, oops. Did I line that up right? I think I did. So now, yeah, see, Blender's not keeping up with the playback. So I'm actually not seeing what's actually happening. This kind of sucks. Okay, that's fine. So let's add the old curves modifier. I do this pretty much every strip because you know what? Later, I can always tweak the color correction. So now the most recent sequence, let's go back to the top here of this sequence. Just see how it feels, because you know things are going to really pick up here. The music's going to pick up. What a contemptuous attitude. That shot's going to have to be redone again. I did that in Blender and it got all screwed up. Boom. Ah! Chip. Yaw. Yeah. Okay. This is where the tempo of the scene is allowed to break. It's not allowed to break here. So what's going wrong here is rip, zoom. This shot right here is taking too long. So I'm just going to go with my gut and put it about the same length as these other shots, because obviously that means it's kind of coming down at about the same tempo. Yeah, and that's the shot we haven't hit yet. So, ooh, boom, 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 boom. Yeah, see? And actually, that should actually be about like that. Shoom, shoom, shoom. Whoa, boom. Yep. I'm even going to roll this back one more frame. Cut that back just a little earlier. Okay. And then this is probably going to be completely re-envisioned. So we're in a good place here. We're probably going to be able to go back to OpenTunes because I think some of this is going to be completely rejected. Now, most of it from here on out looked pretty good. And this shot, as complicated as it is, and even though it's quite rough, it looked good. You know, whoa, and it all happened so fast. Why Blender keeps choking here and won't play it back in real time is kind of beyond me. There it goes. But its caching system is... Oh, I see what's going on. I see. Blender 2.8 is actually telling me right here what's cached in memory. Okay. That's good to know. Yeah. So that's cool. That's working. And with that, that's another 42 minutes of nothing but fun. And so we'll go ahead and revisit Ninja 2's reaction and his choice to go ahead and make a move on Akari next. And we'll see how I might want to redraw it. But I think that one's going to be here in OpenTunes because I'm just basically going to do that shot from scratch. So with that, I will say there will be more later. And thanks for tuning in.